What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, we have some more depressing news from the Transformers franchise. It just seems like this year and just the last like 6 or so months, close to a year now at this point, we've just been taking L after L with the occasional W here and there in terms of just the toy side of things. Even with the figures, it's like you get like 4 L's in a row and then like 2 W's, you know? And by the way, if you hear a noise in the background, there is a company mowing the lawn of my property, so there's that. But anyway, with this game, so this is from TF Hype Guy on Twitter, where I found this was reported on, so shout out to you, my guy. So he was saying this more than likely would have been a VR game, and it was called Transformers Goliath, and it was canceled, and I'm going to read what he says here, and I quote, "We have new reports and even concept art from a canceled Transformers video game from Skydance Interactive, codenamed Goliath. Now that gaming is the main priority over at Hasbro, it's nice to see another canceled project." Yeah, I definitely would like to agree with that sarcasm there. They announced, what was it, like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, or whatever, that they would be focusing more on the gaming side of things, especially for like, I think it was Transformers and G.I. Joe as well. They would kind of, obviously still do the toys that we've been getting, but also put more focus in probably time and money into gaming stuff for these franchises, which would make sense, especially with the new CEO, Chris Cox, and where his background is from, and just the future of society and nerd culture and physical media and stuff like that with video games. It makes sense. But the way they've been handling it the last couple years, since this sort of change in environment over at Hasbro has started, it's been terrible. Reactivate is canceled. All we've been getting is these crappy app games that really nobody plays or even cares about, other than probably little kids or just people who are bored at work or at school or something. And you get Goliath right here, which might have been a VR game, console game. We honestly don't really know for sure yet. But it's just another thing here that's like, what is Hasbro doing over there? Like, how are we going to be able to get a foot in the door in the modern era, in the 2020s, with gaming and Transformers, when we're already so far behind, when we haven't had a proper console game in 10 years now, when Reactivate was supposed to take that spot like 4 or 5 years ago? It's just so depressing, guys. And, I come from the era of Transformers in Hasbro, the 2000s, early 2010s, where you had a video game practically almost every year, or basically every year, from, let's say, 2007 to about 2015. That was almost a 10-year thing of just pure goodness, even though I didn't really care about Devastation that much. I thought the 3 movie games were fantastic. I thought War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron, obviously so goated, probably in the top 20 or top 30 games from the 2010s, I'd say. I mean, there's so many different cult followings in Transformers, but just from those video games alone, the movie games, and especially the War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron games, there is a cult following specifically within a Transformers fandom just for those games. Like, that's how impactful they were 10, 15 years ago with those video games, that there's people who are solely into Transformers just because of those games back then. It's crazy and amazing at the same time. But you don't get that nowadays because Hasbro is either making dumb decisions or not putting in the correct effort to put out proper Transformers video games like they used to 10, 15 years ago. And we're at this point now where, I mean, I would like, now I'm no expert in like video game development and stuff like that, but I would like to say and assume that nowadays in the year, the big 2025, that making a video game would be a bit easier than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago when we were getting the Armada game, the Beastars game, the movie games, and the Cybertron games and stuff, all those games, But it seems like it's even harder than ever. I don't know what the reasoning behind that could be. Again, I'm no expert in game development, so let me know in the comments if that's true or not. But, I'm just looking at everything through a consumer's lens, and I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Now, let's take a look at the concept art here. It looks cool. In hindsight and what we see here, it's really nothing like too crazy or spectacular in terms of designs that we've seen in recent years, the last like 15, 20 years, I'd say. It's a modernized G1 Optimus design with a couple extra greebling details on his body. You get basically the same design for Evergreen Bumblebee that we've been getting for the last like 10 years now, but with some updates to it, like the lower legs are basically from Rise of the Beast Bumblebee and stuff like that. So a little bit of differences there, but pretty cool design nonetheless. And then you get like this exosuit power armor type thing here, which seems to be inspired or based off of Rise of the Beast Mirage, or just G1 Mirage in general, mixed with the Rise of the Beast Mirage exosuit. So that's pretty cool. I do really like that. It's pretty inventive, the way they kind of put the two ideas of Mirage together. A little bit of new, a little bit of classic, That is pretty cool. I like that. And then you get Optimus in truck mode, typical G1 design, the flat-nosed truck, the trailer with the Autobot logo and that stripe going across it. Very classic, looks very cool. And then you get more concept art of Optimus comparing it to the original G1 comic drawing, and basically just outlining what they want to do with the design and different drawings that they did for the truck mode and stuff like that. Typical development things that these companies like to do, which is always really cool to see the behind the scenes of how this stuff actually works, from somebody like me who's just on the outside looking in. And then you get another image of the exosuit here. It also reminds me of the laser cycle design from Legacy, or like the Prime RC design a little bit. So it seems like they're mixing quite a bit of things here. G1 Mirage, the Legacy laser cycle design, and also Rise of the Beast Mirage. At least to me personally, it seems like it's a mix of those three things within Transformers, which is really cool again. And then lastly, just another image of Optimus in his truck mode. So just based off of these few images that we got here from the concept art that's been leaked, I gotta say, it looks like it would have been a pretty cool design philosophy that they were going for with this game. Not really anything too crazy again. Pretty much all of this is stuff that we've seen before in the last 10, 20 years with Transformers. But, just something a little bit more updated with modern times. I do like the exosuit design. The lower legs on Bumblebee being mixed with the Rise of the Beast design is pretty interesting. And, you can't go wrong with the classic G1 Optimus design, modernized with extra greebling details on his body. That's always going to look amazing, no matter what they do with it. So, not much to talk about with the concept art. But, with everything that's going on, guys, I'm just getting so sick and tired of talking about the same old crap about how this is canceled, or this isn't doing well, this movie didn't make enough money to get a sequel, this figure has this QC problem even though it costed $300 and it's a HasLab, this figure has QC issues, this figure was a terrible repaint or remold that should have been an all-new mold. It's just this frequent thing that seems to be coming up more and more the last, year and a half, 2 years now. And I'm just getting sick of it, guys. Like, I am a Transformers fan. I love this franchise. I genuinely love this franchise. Like, it's gotten me through some tough times in my life. It's made me money even these last couple years, which is amazing. It's something that I all around love and I feel for. And I get a little choked up talking about it like this right now. But this is the reality we're living in. Like, I just come from an era where Transformers was this big, huge franchise. And it still is in a lot of ways in this day and age now. But in a lot of aspects, it is a fraction of what it once was 10, 15 years ago. And it is so sad to see. I want to announce in this video, guys, I'm probably going to be taking a back seat from news videos like this. I mean, obviously, I'll still cover stuff like this, especially if it's really big news, like bigger news than this, whether it's movie announcements or stuff going on with the cartoons or what have you. But I really do want to focus more on this channel in terms of my toy photography or stop motion art with Transformers, which I did take a backseat on with that the last 6 months to a year, which I do want to get back to that more. And I do want to do more lore videos on Transformers, whether it's books from the movies that people really don't know a whole lot of details about that really shed some interesting light on characters that just wasn't really explained in the movie, that was explained in expanded universe novels, whether it's comics or actual books. Stuff like that, you know, lore videos from either the movies or cartoons or whatever comic book I choose. So I just find a bit more enjoyment in that at the moment than just constantly making videos or news videos talking about everything that's going wrong in the franchise, and then you get the occasional news video where it's like, okay, this is really cool, but then you get like 4 or 5 news videos in a row where it's like, it's this horrible announcement, or this figure that wasn't done good, or something was leaked and canceled, whatever the case may be. Like, I'm just getting sick of it, guys, you know? I want this franchise to do well. I want to see it do good and succeed, and maybe even get it back to how it was 10, 15 years ago. And there's a weed whacker in the background, but whatever. I don't want to make this video too much longer, guys. Just wanted to talk about this game cancellation and just the future of Transformers in this channel a little bit as well. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below, how do I feel about another Transformers game being leaked and canceled. And yeah, thank y'all for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!